Welcome to Obi-Wan Studios, and for today's LEGO Star Wars set review, I have the 8011 Technic Jango Fett. This set released in the spring of 2002 for $30. It comes with 429 pieces, and it retired at the end of 2003. Today, if you're looking to pick one of these up sealed in the box, just like my example right here, you can expect to pay about $74 based on sales data from Brick Economy. When it comes to the early 2000s box art style like this one, this is just the one that I have the most nostalgia for personally. The silver kind of circular window that shows bits of the scenery with the set. It's just the one from my childhood that's resonated the most with me. And the box art for the Technic Jango Fett I think just looks so great. You see that Jango Fett front and center, and then you have a bit of the asteroid field above Geonosis and the slave one behind Jango there. I just think it looks so great. On the right side of our box, you see a small window that features a bunch of the other Technic sets from this era. And then if you turn the box around, you see the set's play features are highlighted along with some shots of Jango from episode 2. But this box art I think is one of the better looking boxes that I've reviewed on the channel in a while. It's one of my personal favorites actually since I've acquired this set sealed about a year ago from the time of me making this review. I just have always thought it looked so great, and this is a set that a bunch of you guys have actually requested me to review on the channel, so I'm going to go and unseal the Technic Jango Fett. Now these older ones are a little bit tricky because they're sealed and glued at the back, so I think I'm going to try and open it from the bottom, and I'll check in with you guys once it's all unsealed and go over all of the box contents. Alright, that wasn't the easiest unboxing I've ever had on the channel. The glue on the underside across the bottom fold was so thick and just old, it didn't want to open up even with the knife going through the bottom, so it didn't turn out quite as smooth as I was hoping, but that's just the way it goes sometimes with these unboxings. But just for a quick kind of review of everything that came with the set, we have the LEGO catalog flyer in here, just pretty cool, something you would always get with the older sets. We have the 2002 LEGO kind of catalog there. This one mainly, from what I can tell, features, looks like a bunch of Bionicle stuff, a bunch of sets I had when I was a kid actually, and one page for LEGO Star Wars featuring the Technic Darth Vader and R2-D2. These are always just cool to kind of have a look back at what was going on for the time, even in other themes like Bionicle. We have our instructions manual, which I keep forgetting how massive these old booklets are. This one's huge. It would be like a third of the size if this set came out today. But that's the instructions manual, a little bit bent, but nothing too crazy. Inside the box as well, we have just the bigger Technic gun. It was sitting loose inside everything, so can't lose that. And then 4 total numbered bags. I absolutely love the original kind of style on these Technic sets where you could see just the actual outline of the build, and then on this one it's in black and white. You see just the dark of the legs is what you're actually building in bag 1. The design is just super cool, so nostalgic. I absolutely love it. And now let's build the Technic Jango Fett and actually see what the set looks like. So here is the completed Jango Fett, and the thing about these old school LEGO Star Wars Technic sets is that when you build them today, you gotta go into it knowing you're not getting the most accurate representation of whatever character they're supposed to be. It's not quite like what they make now with the new buildable character line for modern LEGO Star Wars, but there is a lot of charm to these original LEGO Star Wars Technic sets in my opinion, and when it comes to this Jango Fett here, it definitely does a decent job of representing what Jango looked like, especially for 2002 and all being built out of Technic. A set like this, you can definitely tell the designers put a lot of effort into trying to make it look as close to what Jango Fett would look like for what they were able to do at the time. And I think their efforts really do come across in this build, especially with the color scheme and the different pieces that they used to try and replicate Jango Fett's armor. You have black pieces for the shoes and for the gloves, which is accurate to Jango Fett. And then you have kind of this primary purpley blue color for the cloth that goes underneath the armor, and I think it's a really nice color choice for this version of Jango Fett. Then there are all these silver pieces that go throughout the torso of the build just to represent some of his Beskar armor. The chest piece kind of design especially, I think looks really good. And just underneath it as well, there are some brown Technic pieces and tubes which represent his belt. And that just brown color there gives such a nice break in terms of kind of the all blue and gray color scheme of the build. Moving up to Jango's helmet, and this is really where you can see there definitely was that effort again in getting it to look somewhat like Jango Fett. The use of the two-piece for the visor that goes across definitely helps to kind of get that Mandalorian helmet styling there. There are two silver tube pieces as well that go over top of the helmet just to help create that more circular shape. Overall, it looks like Jango Fett, especially for kind of the style, this Technic form for, like I say, 2002. It's close enough to representing what you would expect for Jango Fett's helmet. On the right side of his helmet as well, you have the rangefinder, which can tilt downwards and forward. One kind of quirk about it, though, is that it doesn't quite go in front of the actual visor. It sits a little low when it's placed down, but hey, just the fact that it's there and you can actually move it up and down is a nice little play feature. In terms of other play features for the Technic Jango Fett, you do have his two blasters that are included as accessories. In this form here, like you guys are just seeing, they are actually in the holsters which go on either side of his waist, kind of leg area, and then you can place the blasters and attach them to his hands. You can do it on one if you want, you can do it on both. However, you kind of want to have him displayed or used for play. The blasters themselves are just ultra simple in terms of their Technic design, but it gets across what it's trying to be fair enough. In terms of just general posability for Jango as well, there really isn't much you can do with this specific version. The arms can move up and down at the shoulders and you can move the hands around, but you don't have any posability in terms of the elbow joints or even the legs at all. They're basically stuck permanently in this position where the waist is kind of twisted a little bit too. He's not standing dead on straight. His torso is kind of tilted to the side just a little bit, but the helmet can turn side to side. So you do have a little bit more posing that you can do with the helmet. Just gives a little bit more play as well, and however you kind of want to display this version of Jango Fett. But the primary play feature that comes with this build, like all LEGO Star Wars Technic sets have, that one kind of really cool play feature is the larger missile that sits on top of his jetpack. At the back of Jango, you have a small blue Technic pin, which when you start to pull it down, tilts the entire torso forward, and when you get to the proper angle, have it tilted down all the way. That almost hit the camera. The missile will just launch. It's a really fun play feature that you could say if you were a kid, you just have so much fun actually reenacting kind of the duel with Obi-Wan, and it kind of makes you almost wish that they made some sort of Technic version of Obi-Wan to go up against Jango Fett, because that just would have been so much fun to have both of these characters to play with when you were a kid. But that missile feature, how can you not love a giant missile on the back of Jango Fett? All right, now just putting that missile back into the actual launcher there, giving you guys a bit of a different angle as well so you can see how the system works. This little blue lever down kind of at the bottom of his torso, slowly tilted back with the use of a rubber band. Entire torso tilts down, and then the missile fires off. It works very, very well. I'm just always impressed experiencing these different kind of main play features with the Technic sets, that just how crazy the design of them is. I mean, that works very, very well, especially for a 2002 set. I mean, you can't not love that. As far as the rest of the jetpack is concerned, this is kind of the one area where I do find a little bit maybe fault with its design. It's the fact mainly that these blue pieces on the back of the jetpack area are blue. If they would have been gray, I think they just would have made the build, like the jetpack, just look a little bit more proper like it should. The blue just stands out a little bit too much to me, but the entire kind of back jetpack area in general is mainly designed just so that you can shoot off that larger missile. So the color swapping, I think, would have made it look a little bit better, but overall, it's really here for that play feature. So when it comes to the Technic Jango Fett, and if you guys have seen any of my previous reviews on these old school LEGO Star Wars Technic sets, you'll know that I have a bit of a soft spot for these builds simply because this is the era that I grew up in for LEGO Star Wars. I just find a lot of charm and nostalgia in these builds, and I think when it comes to giving a fair rating for a set like this, you really have to look at it with the lens of the fact that this set is 23 years old, but it looks pretty cool. It has some great play features as well. So for the Obi-Wan Studios official set rating, I'm going to give this one a 7.9 out of 10. I feel like it's not quite an 8, but taking into account the play features, the color scheme of it, and how the armor was pretty fairly accurately represented in there. I don't think you can get too bent out of shape in terms of the way the designers went and actually designed it. Like I said, the one part for me, the blue in terms of the back of the jetpack, that's the one area where I'm like, okay, they could have made it gray and it would have looked better and have been more accurate, but really otherwise, what more could you expect out of a set like this? I think a 7.9 is a pretty fair rating. And if you want to pick this set up today for that about $74, $75 it goes for sealed in box, I think you wouldn't be disappointed because you're buying this set because you really care for LEGO Star Wars' history. Maybe you're just a really big fan of Episode 2 or Jango Fett or the kind of Mandalorians in general. If you're buying this set for those reasons, I definitely think it's a great one to add to your collection and definitely a talking point because it looks a little bit kind of zany, as these Technic Star Wars sets really do for the buildable characters at least. The droids definitely look a lot closer to what they're trying to represent. Thank you for watching my review on the 8011 Technic Jango Fett. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you guys leave a like on the video and let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. If you agree with my 7.9 rating, if you think it should be lower or higher, I'm always curious to hear what you guys think, or if you own the set when you were younger, or if it's one you're wanting to add to your collection. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you want to support my LEGO Star Wars reviews, please make sure you subscribe. It's just the best way to support these videos that I make. And until the next one, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next LEGO Star Wars set review.